Hey, it's Webs here, and a new Hearthstone set has been teased. This time it looks like we're going into the Shadowlands with Castle Nathria and Sire Denathrius. This is actually probably the best possible choice that they could have actually made when it comes to visiting the Shadowlands in Hearthstone, as Sire Denathrius was actually a real big fan favorite. And it looks like the reveal season is going to start on Monday, which is actually pretty soon, so we might actually be getting an early set this time around. And while we didn't actually get much information besides the actual teaser, I figured I might as well go over some of the lore elements that we could actually be seeing in this set, as I do know a little bit about the Warcraft story, and honestly, Revendreth is a real fun zone to actually just fly around in. So the first thing that you really need to know when it comes to Shadowlands as a area in the Warcraft universe is it's the realm of the dead, and Revendreth is one of them. It's where people that actually have the potential to be redeemed actually go once they actually die, such as Kelthus that we might be actually seeing in the set, or even Garrosh, who was also sent here, even though our Garrosh was supposed to be the worst possible end. The zone itself is inspired by Victorian era architecture with a Gothic twist. It's actually a pretty cool zone to just look at overall, though there is another thing. Even though this is the realm of the dead and most people are expecting a undead tag with this set, I very much doubt that we're actually going to see a undead tag, because most of the mobs within the zone itself are actually tagged as humanoid instead of undead, because they are in their own natural realm and they are technically not actually undead. Castle Nathria was the first raid tier within the Shadowlands expansion, and even though it's only a small part of the overall zone of Revendreth, it is actually a big chunk and actually ties into the story quite well. The castle itself is the home of Sire Denathrius, who is the ruler over and is one of the leaders of the Shadowlands as a overall realm in the Warcraft story. Sire was also the creator of the Dreadlords, which actually impacted the story of the overall Warcraft universe in quite a few ways, as they were the ones that led Sargeras to his downfall, corruption, and have served as a way to infiltrate the other realms of the Warcraft universe for Sire and the jailer who Sire actually works for. And speaking of the Dreadlords, they were actually outcasted out of the Shadowlands by Sire on purpose to actually try to infiltrate the other realms, and the event that actually led up to this is the fact that they invaded the realm of the light, and this is why there is a giant scar within the Revendreth zone that is actually light touched, and that the Venthyr, which Sire Denathrius also created, do have a huge weakness to the light, as stereotypical vampires usually do, which gives a great possibility for us to actually see some more Naru within the game, as there is a Naru who is a prisoner of Sire Denathrius that you actually free within the Sanguine Depths dungeon in the Shadowlands expansion. And while I don't have a really good prediction this time around for any new mechanic that we might actually be seeing, I do have some predictions for some cards that we might see as legendaries. The Sunken City set actually had most of the Eternal Palace bosses actually made into cards, either in standard or in battlegrounds, so I would assume that we are probably going to see a huge chunk of the bosses within Castle Nathria actually become cards within Hearthstone with this actual set, though some things like Artificer Zymox and the Hungering Devourer might not, because they are more of an overarching theme of the Shadowlands altogether, and that might actually not make sense with a given expansion. My assumption for this expansion, however, is probably going to be something that is kind of like Clue, where we're trying to find hints of who the murderer actually is. We do know that Witchwood early on was supposed to be a murder mystery, but they ended up scrapping it. I really wonder if they scrapped it because Shadowlands was in development at the time, and they thought a murder mystery in a castle would be a much better fit for something like that than just some woods where anything could possibly happen. The other thing that should be worth mentioning here is we are supposedly going to get a new type of card, and my prediction for that is probably something that actually just has a permanent presence on the board, similar to the portal that you get off of Niru Fireblade once you fulfill whatever conditions. That seems as an easy way to make something interesting for the game that already kind of exists, but give it a new form of card, similar to what Lord Jaraxxus was to hero cards once hero cards actually came out. Again, this might not be the correct prediction, but who knows. There's very few things that this game is actually missing that I can think of off the top of my head where you could actually fit in this game without changing the fundamentals of Hearthstone overall. The other thing would be some type of interaction between you and your opponent on your opponent's turn, but I don't know if they actually want to move towards that direction with Hearthstone as a game. It could make some interesting gameplay, but at the same time, it does mean you have to pay more attention while playing against an opponent, and I don't know if a lot of people would like something like that, as there would probably be a lot of backlash if they did decide to introduce something similar to that. Let me know down below what your predictions for this expansion actually are going to be. This looks like a really fun set theme, at least, as Sire Denathrius is a really cool character and probably is going to be the pre-order bonus. I'd be shocked if he isn't. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, bye bye.